video is going to be really important for the woman that is desperately wanting and trying so hard to lose weight, feels uncomfortable in her body, but somehow is still struggling. Especially if you are feeling burnt out and just can't seem to stop overeating. You have a habit of starting a diet, feeling good for a few days, maybe even a few weeks. You then suddenly, you feel like you lose all motivation, lose all willpower. Very quickly, you go sort of into a downward spiral with your food and just feeling like, oh, screw it, I'm just going to eat whatever I want, which then very quickly turns into a huge overeating fest. Usually along with this usually comes with secret eating as well, so you feel very secretive, you feel embarrassed, a lot of shame around your eating habits. Maybe out in public you feel and look as though you eat really healthy, but then behind closed doors just feel very compulsive around food. Just feel like no matter how hard you're trying, you just can't seem to lose the weight or at least stick to a diet long enough in order to see it through. If you're new around here, hi, I'm Hetty. I'm a personal trainer and women's food freedom, confidence and fitness coach. And the reason why I want to talk about this today is this actually came up with one of my clients recently. On paper, she was doing it all correctly. She was eating really healthy, she was training well, and she looked as though she was eating enough. At least that's what she thought. However, she would come into these patterns with her habits, with food. She would plan her meals, like her lunches, her breakfast, her dinner. She would eat relatively well. They were well planned, they were healthy, they had protein, all of the things, a lot of which I talk about on this channel. However, there would come a point on certain days of the week, late at night when she was about to go to bed, or when her and her partner was just about to wind down for the evening and watch some TV. When she got a moment to herself, she would find herself going into the kitchen and feeling very compulsive around wanting to snack. She was finding herself eating things like biscuits that she didn't even know why she was eating them. And it wasn't just one. It was like one after the other. It was in a very quick motion around the way that she was eating. She felt almost like she was in a trance. It was like for that moment in time, she had no kind of control over what she was eating and how much. All she knew in her brain was, I just need food. I just need to eat as quickly as possible, and I need to eat as much as possible. If this sounds like you, please rest assured that there is nothing wrong with you. And actually, if you are new to my channel, definitely check some of my other videos out, because I actually explain how I too struggled with my relationship with food for many years. I went in and out of different and numerous eating disorders, dealing with binge eating and other forms of overeating, compulsive overeating, and all of those types of behaviours. And for the longest time, I felt like something was inherently wrong with me, because there I was comparing myself to all of these people that seemed to, even in the fitness industry, I would look at all these people who seemed to be tracking their calories well, and even working with fitness coaches in the past, they would give me a meal plan or give me a calorie goal to hit. I would get so far in, and then suddenly the same thing happening, like with my client, I would start to just feel the need to just overeat. It was like this need and desire I just need to eat as much as possible. And in that moment, I didn't care what I ate, I didn't care how much. It was just in that moment, it was like something took over my brain where I just couldn't stop. But then I also really wanted to lose weight at the time. I didn't feel comfortable or confident in my body. I felt insecure. And on top of that, it just kind of spiraled into that, because I felt really ashamed of my eating habits and I felt really unhappy in my body. So it was almost like the more that I tried with my food, the more I tried to stick to my calories, the more I tried to eat less, the actual worse it got. Ironically, I actually started to eat more as a result of me trying to control my food more. I went low carb, I tried to do intermittent fasting, all of the things. Along with that, I was training really hard. I was going to the gym, I was doing all of the workouts. So on paper, I was doing all of the things, tracking my steps, staying active. Why was my ability to lose weight and stick to a diet long enough in order to lose the weight in the first place, why was that so damn hard? And that's why, again, I wanted to talk about in relation to my client, because the reality of it is, as women, we're trying to stick to these diets and that are not helping anybody. It's actually making us feel worse as a result, and we're working against our body more and more and more, thinking that it's a problem with their willpower or their discipline. They think that it's a problem with them and that they're the problem. They can't stick to a diet long enough, when actually, and this is what I mean when I'm talking about my client, because she thought she was doing everything right. On paper it looked like she was doing everything right. The meals that she was eating looked healthy, they didn't look unhealthy. But the problem was what I'm going to dive into in this video and talk about the reasons why you might still be overeating, which you might not realize hasn't got anything to do with willpower. It's not got anything to do with discipline. In fact, it's a lot to do with your physiology and how your body is fighting against you. The reason why I want to address this is because this becomes such a problem for women. This is why they go round and round in circles trying to lose weight, doing all of the things, pushing themselves so hard in things like their workouts. They're trying to be so strict with themselves when it comes to their nutrition and dieting, and they go from diet to diet, trying so hard and getting nowhere. The biggest thing that makes me sad, and I can relate to this because I too struggle with this, it really knocks their confidence and their self-esteem in themselves. They're just becoming reinforced all of the time that they believe that they're not good enough, that they believe that they're not disciplined enough, they're not as good as somebody else that can stick to a diet long enough or can lose the weight. And then this kind of reinforces the same belief that, yeah, they're never going to achieve goals that they want. They're never going to feel good in their bodies, which I really want to drive this home that you absolutely can. You can get to a place where you feel confident, healthy, fit, strong in your body, whilst also having a good, healthy relationship with food and with exercise, and it not need to take over your life. This is literally what I do with my clients, and I'm so passionate about this because I struggled with this for so long, and it took me so long to understand how the body works and how our relationship with food literally dictates our physical results, but it also dictates and controls how we live our life, our relationships, our friendships, our hobbies, our purpose in life. Your purpose in life is not to constantly be on a diet. Your purpose in life goes way beyond just trying to chase a number on a scale. You have got so much more to give other than trying to lose weight. But the problem is we're doing all of the things that are just keeping us stuck. What we need to do is work smarter, not harder. And that is what I'm all about. So let's dive in. Why you're still not losing weight even though you're trying really hard. I want to go back to my client. It looked like she was eating enough. She was having things like Greek yogurt for breakfast with fruit. She was having soup for lunchtime. She was having a well-cooked meal in the evenings. However, when we started to address how she actually felt after each meal in terms of her hunger and her energy, and noting as well, she pushes herself a lot in her workout. She trains hard and she trains regularly. So there is a high energy demand of what she's doing in her workouts. Her body is being pushed, and essentially when we're exercising intensely, we're actually putting our bodies through stress. So when we put our bodies through stress, it's not necessarily a bad thing. However, if we're not fueling our bodies properly, allowing our bodies to refuel, i.e. with food, it takes calories, it takes energy to recover from your workouts. So if we're not fueling adequately and properly, our body is never fully recovered. So therefore, we're not actually going to get the results that we want. And it's also keeping our body in a state of high stress. And high stress, high cortisol, which essentially is like when your nervous system is in a state of fight or flight. If your body is in a state of fight or flight, this is usually how we would describe what being wired but tired, struggling to sleep, feeling very high alert, feeling very stressed naturally. When this happens, when your body's in a state of stress, struggle to sleep, struggle to rest, recover, then also what this does to your brain is your brain essentially tries to seek out dopamine hits, and dopamine hits will come from things like food. It will come from things like sugar, carbs, chocolate, all of the things. We might be able to push through that for a certain level of time, but then eventually it's going to get to a point where your brain is just seeking so much dopamine. It's going to get to that point where at the end of the day, when you're already feeling tired, you're feeling exhausted, and you're still running around thinking I've got this to do, or I need to go and do a workout, the brain is going to seek out all of the ways that it can get some dopamine. So it's going to do this by going into the kitchen. It's going to seek out all of the sweet foods. It's going to crave carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, fat, sugar, all give our brain a quick dopamine hit. Not only this, but when your body is in a state of stress, certain hormones play into this. So there are certain hormones, and I've spoken about this before in other videos, I'll link them down below. There are certain hormones that regulate our appetite and the foods that we eat. Certain hormones such as ghrelin. So ghrelin is essentially the hunger hormone. It tells our brain, seek out food. Think of it as like the hungry gremlin. When ghrelin rises, which it does when we're in a state of stress, your brain then starts to seek out things like carbohydrates, sugar and fat. However, there's also another hormone involved, and that's leptin. And leptin basically tells our brain that it is full and it is satisfied. And when we're in a state of high stress, our leptin levels start to drop. And what this means is when we're eating food, we don't fully feel full and satisfied. So that can be another reason why you're stood up in the kitchen and you're trying to eat as much as possible. You feel like nothing actually makes you feel full and satisfied. This is literally the reason why you feel so dysregulated with your hunger, and you feel like you just can't stop, and you're gravitating more so towards around the sugar and the fat. Most women that I work with pushing themselves in the gym, they're dieting really hard, they feel like they can't lose weight, but not only this, and this is such a big factor, they're not allowing themselves to sleep. They're not allowing themselves to rest properly. They're in this constant state of go, 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 trying to do all of the things, exercise really hard, but actually in order to reap the benefits of the exercise that we're doing, we need to recover and we need to sleep. Sleep is so important for our physical results, but also fat loss, because it regulates our hormones and it regulates our appetite. When we're not sleeping enough, this means that our appetite hormones, when those hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin, start to come out of whack. So this is so important for our appetite regulation. But also, if we're not sleeping enough, our body is going to still stay in that state of high stress, high fight or flight. You're going to be craving all of the carbs, all of the sugar, and you're just going to feel really worn out. You're going to feel really burnt out and mentally just very noisy. Yes, it feels like your motivation is non-existent because your brain isn't wired right now. It's not in a calm state where you can make logical decisions. Your brain is in a dopamine seeking state, as well as your appetite being all dysregulated. To kind of summarize this up, one of the biggest reasons why so many women are struggling to lose weight, it is because their body is in a state of high stress. They're not eating enough, and they're pushing themselves all the time in their workouts, pushing themselves so much that their body is not recovering properly. So they're not having adequate amount of food after their workouts in order for them and their bodies to recover properly. Then all of this starts to send our body into a state of high stress. Binging or overeating on things like sugar and biscuits and all of the things late at night, you're then starting to slow down our ability to switch off, rest, recover. And this is something that I spoke about with my client. Society doesn't praise us for resting. It doesn't praise us for slowing down. It doesn't praise us for going to sleep early. Actually, it's the opposite. We're praised for waking up at the crack of dawn, running on very low sleep, pushing really hard, go, 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 go. When our bodies are in that state of go, 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 we struggle with a few things. We struggle with feeling burnt out. We feel exhausted mentally, emotionally. Feel like we just start crying at the drop of a hat because we're so incredibly burnt out. Because our body isn't fully recovered, because we're not going to sleep on time, because we're not sleeping enough, our body cannot recover properly. And when we're actually pushing ourselves in our workouts, essentially we're not actually getting anything positive out our workouts because our bodies don't feel energized in our workouts in the first place. We're going into the gym or the fitness class feeling already exhausted. I feel tired, I feel exhausted, but at least I'm here. Again, this ties in with what I was saying before. Our society doesn't praise us for resting. It doesn't praise us for listening to our body. If we're tired, it's praised, especially as women, we're praised for pushing through, grinding it out. Actually, this is going against what you actually want. The more we push, the more we restrict our food and undereat and overtrain, the more you are putting your body into a state of high stress, which is then preventing you from losing weight. Your appetite is going up, so therefore you are overeating, compulsive overeating, and unable to stick to any kind of diet. But then also on top of your diet is feeling really restrictive. You feel chaotic around food. You're pushing yourself in your workouts and trying so damn hard, but actually you don't have the energy to exercise in the first place. You're not fully recovering after your workouts, so your body is still staying in a state of high stress, high cortisol. And when our bodies are staying in a high stress, high cortisol, that actually blunts our metabolism. So it actually stops our body from burning calories efficiently and burning fat. Actually, all of these things that I've talked about today actually are going against your very goal of losing body fat. So it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. I'll list some videos that I've done on metabolism down below, but essentially what we need to do when we're working smarter, not harder, is fueling our bodies adequately. Eating enough, underfeeding ourselves, even if it looks on paper like you're eating enough, probably not. Because most of the women that I work with are not eating anywhere near enough what they should be eating, especially in things like protein. Protein is such a big thing, and so many women are massively undereating on their protein, which is therefore slowing down your metabolism. You might even be losing weight on the scale, but you're losing things like muscle mass, which again is down-regulating and slowing down your metabolism, i.e. it's stopping your very goal of wanting to lose weight. On top of this, you're overeating and feeling really, really out of control. So what we need to do is we need to fuel our bodies properly. We need to eat adequately and making sure that we're eating enough, and things like protein and things that make us feel full and satisfied. That's going to help regulate our blood sugar levels, our appetite. We're calm, regulated, and we can make logical decisions. We're not going to feel out of control. We're not going to have these intense cravings that you're experiencing right now. Then from that point, you're then going to have the energy to push yourself in your workouts and training in a way that benefits your metabolism, that allows you to lose body fat, lean up, tone up, and also build a metabolism that allows your body to burn fat efficiently, not slowing down. With that, you're going to feel energized, you're going to feel happier, healthier, balanced. And then with that, you're going to feel calmer, and you're able to sleep, rest, recover, and do other things in your life, like hobbies, other interests, instead of feeling constantly stressed. That is when your body starts to release body fat. Not only that, but you feel calm and in control with your eating habits. You don't feel completely chaotic, out of control, overeating 1 minute, trying to restrict yourself the next. I promise you, and I come from all the experience, and I work with women all the time that are struggling with this, and the difference that it makes when they start to implement these strategies, their body composition changes, their mood changes, they actually have the confidence and they feel good in their body, they feel good in their workouts, and they see their body changing. But not only that, their world opens up, because their world is no longer dominated by this habit of overeating, binge eating, and undereating and over-exercising. If this sounds like you and you are resonating with everything that I've said, and maybe even you're thinking, I don't even know where to start, I need some support, I need some help, this is literally what I do with my one-on-one clients. I promise you, you won't get another program like this as intimate as this. Right now, I'm offering a discounted price for the month of January, so definitely jump on that if you are interested in working with me one-on-one and you're wanting to get to that point where you lose the body fat, lean up, but also heal your relationship with food so that you don't feel out of control anymore, and you can actually lose the body fat and maintain it for the long term. So if that sounds like you, check out the link below. I will leave it there. Of course, follow me on Instagram if you have any other questions. Feel free to drop me a DM. Yeah, I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.